Now I'd like to invite the chairman of MyCreative Ventures to deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome Encik Mohd Naguib Razak, or let's welcome Encik Mohd Naguib Razak. Sir, if you please, how are you?
Very good, thank you very much.
Over to you, sir, for your welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everyone. I bid you all welcome to the Creative Economy 2021 Forum. This time part 2, I guess, and it is 2021. It's not a mistake because we are already looking ahead and looking well beyond into next year. This year being a very difficult year, I know a lot of you have been impeded in terms of your plans, and a lot has been postponed. But I think it's time to maybe rethink our approaches. Before I go further, thank you all for joining us via your screens, be it from your homes or offices. I want to especially warmly thank my team in MyCreative Ventures, Chandana and Rio, for successfully organizing this digital forum, given the latest control movement order during this very extended, unwavering pandemic that has somewhat resurged.
I was done.
Yep. All right, and I also especially, thank you, Izan, for the very nice welcoming remark, and I want to thank Izan also for her tremendous effort in bringing this important event to fruition. Now, this time, the Creative Economy 2021 Forum the theme is focused on arts and culture. Why? Because we realize and understand that there is a need for a slightly different narrative within the overall creative economy framework. For arts and culture. We understand that whilst other sectors within the creative industries may be primarily commercially orientated and have real potential in maybe driving an economy and contributing to the nation's GDP, the arts and cultural sectors, however, have an altogether different dynamic. And to attempt to place it on a profit-centric trajectory or cost-efficient afterburners, it's more likely to hurt and negate the value, the essence, the longevity, and the meaning of these efforts in the art and cultural sector. So how do we as government and policymakers approach this sector? Now, we're very, very happy to have Bapak K. Chandra Negara, Director of Interinstitutional Relations for the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy Indonesia. We hope to hear how they hope to become a global creative economy player by 2030. And this is exciting given, as we can see, quite obviously, their innate strength is in arts and culture. I'm sure we can learn quite a bit from them. We want to also hear what Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin, our Chief Statistician for Malaysia, have got to share with us in terms of the perspective of existing statistics on the arts and culture sectors. I think this will be very, very interesting for us to know also. And beyond that, we have an exciting and rich program that dives deeply into the arts and culture, but particularly the relationship between the private sector, corporations, GLCs, the foundations out there, together with the arts and cultural activities and practitioners and ventures out there. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a pause for a while. Let's be real. 2020 has been a brutal year for a lot of people. And this pandemic has been a blight on all of us. Not just in this industry, almost everyone here and abroad. But not less impacted has been our arts and cultural sectors. Events canceled, and even the possibility of organizing things together, collaborating, has been significantly curtailed. And so many of our independent practitioners, artisans, performers, creators have been affected in terms of their source of livelihood. But at this crucial stage, I, speaking not just as the chairman here of this organization, MyCreative, but as someone who's also been active in the arts and cultural environment, who has lived the struggle like many of you out there, who have known the uncertainty of not knowing how we can continue the craft that we love so much and still make ends meet. I have hope that we are turning a new corner now and starting a new chapter in our own creative economy journey here in Malaysia. We're a little bit behind everyone else, but we're starting to get on board this new narrative, this new big picture of opportunities. And I'm grateful that the guardian and custodian stakeholders in this industry have taken great interest in both the struggles and real opportunity and potential within the industry. I mean, I wish to humbly thank the Finance Minister, YB Senator Tengku Zafrul, first of all, for heeding the call from the creative and arts and cultural industries when he met them, especially towards the end of May this year, and recognizing the importance and value of the creative industries with the Penjana plan for the creative industries that was introduced somewhere in the middle of the year. And with this, he has continued his engagement with this industry. Earlier this year, in the first half, the first session of the Creative Economy 2021 Forum, by hearing out himself and responding to questions we had pulled from the industry, from you guys, in preparation for his work on the national budget that is ongoing very actively right now. I also want to point out that, I do appreciate the work that has been put in by Dato' Ashri bin Hamidun, our Ketua Setiausaha Perdana, and for the Finance Ministry, given the relationship of, given in allowing MyCreative together with Cendana and Rio to take the lead and fulfill the urgent need within the creative industry under the Penjana plan. Now, very important point I want to point out here is, although MyCreative began its journey humbly in 2012 as a solely government investment arm, I understand it was under his stewardship, our KSP, all these years that MyCreative had gradually earned its credentials as a financially highly disciplined and prudent manager of funds. Now, this is important, I believe, because this makes MyCreative the ideal foundation to take on the wider agenda of the creative economy. And when fully integrated together with Cendana and Rio and all the different skill sets that Cendana and the dynamism of Cendana and Rio that it brings within its strength, I believe soon, with both the Minister and KSP's oversight, we hope to complete our metamorphosis into a full-fledged creative economy agency, bringing together all the different strength and uniqueness of our different divisions together to become a more dynamic, more effective, more meaningful agency. And that creative economy journey is destined to become more and more exciting now with the enthusiasm, passion, and support from our Communications and Multimedia Minister, Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah, who clearly recognized a lot of the struggles and frustrations of the industry. He's been on the ground listening, talking to the young people, the veterans, and he's fully committed behind the creative industries and creative economy agenda. I believe he will be joining. There was some last minute changes to his plans about being involved in today's session, but I believe he will be joining us sometime at 3 o'clock later today. He will be sharing some important announcement, and both himself and his office has been working with MyCreative to also announce some important plans for next year together alongside with the United Nations, sometime either today or sometime next week actually. So we're very excited. There's this energy, this mood, this recognition. Creative industry and the creative economy is important. We hope that ultimately what this means, this Creative Economy 2021 Forum that we have organized on the 6th of October as well as today will mark a turning point, representing the government's desire to completely rethink the creative industries and to ensure that the investments the Finance Ministry and the Economic Planning Unit has made over the years, or will make under Budget 2021 or the 12 Malaysia Plan, is going to yield solid returns for our investees and our grantees on one hand, but at the same time creating a highly visible and impactful outcome that others may learn from and build on in order to have very broad as well as broad social and branding impact on our society and our country. It is about creating real value, be it the commercial value or intangible value, but why not both? And making these values sustainable, continuing, enduring, and hopefully unending also. Far too often our efforts have been one-off and hasn't seen longevity in terms of its outcome and results. There is also a realization from the government that if we shift the funding approach from giving just a lot of money to the same old people, or sometimes we call it the grantrepreneurs, but rather spreading it out to many more real creative practitioners out there who has been surviving and doing great work on their own, but now empowering them to grow their network in their communities and empowering those both in the city centers, but also in smaller towns across the country. Therein lies an opportunity that the creative industries could play a pivotal role, even be a catalyst in regrowing rural economies, which is a challenge in itself, which even through other sectors, we've had difficulty to, many countries also face this challenge in seeing equal, even-handed, even-keeled growth, both in the urban sectors as well as in the rural areas. This is really about how the creative economy, it's not just about the creative industries. It has a role with sustainable development. It has a role with innovation. It has a relationship with business, technology, and it has a role with shared prosperity or common prosperity agenda. How can we make sure the money the government spends to prosper and revitalize our economy reach those people often excluded out of the loop, particularly in the creative arts and cultural practitioners who are very much in the gig economy, working on a freelance basis, and especially now even more so, being completely disconnected with their sources and opportunities. This is when we have to relook at how we are managing that the entire ecosystem tends to be exclusive to city centers, actually. So importantly, we need to see how these grants and investments are used in a way that is strategic, regenerative, cyclical, but also sustainable, that its value has longevity. No doubt the journey will not be easy, but we've got to start somewhere. And that somewhere is here and now. Countries such as Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Colombia, I take note, are already betting big on the creative economy model because they know it can lead to a more equitable distribution of wealth. In other words, shared prosperity. We need to heed some of these success stories out there and see what could be suitable for Malaysia, to how it can establish a somewhat hybrid model where the creative economy is being invested in precisely to generate high revenue, value, growth, to drive the national economy. We can't lose sight of that, to make sufficient profit, to be plowed back into the industry, to be a cycle of value, wealth that keeps on circulating throughout the economy. This is important, playing a role in the larger scheme of the national economy, but at the same time being equally focused on helping the masses support their livelihoods by providing them with an opportunity. Even those not yet in the creative industry there can be an opportunity, I believe, for us to support their livelihoods through the creative industries, because we recognize that this is amongst the industries that is very much future-proof. Therefore, this should be amongst the industries that we prime ourselves as we move towards an uncertain future dictated by the laws of Industrial Revolution 4.0, where a lot of jobs will be automated or taken over by robots. The creative process is something that is highly valued and will continue to be valuable as we go into the future. And therefore, there's an opportunity to give our people both a chance to make a proper quality living, but also be involved in a social process that is meaningful, that can give back value to the nation, that doesn't have as much of a high barrier entry, given that the minimal or modest amount of upfront capital required within this industry generally. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe we can create a brighter future through concerted action, by breaking down our silos between us and working together. And that starts with MyCreative itself. We ourselves, under us, we have the three organizations, but we want the three of MyCreative, Cendana, Rio to blend together and work, create a wonderful synergy. And I think the two events that we have staged, organized in this month under the Creative Economy 2021 Forum, is good evidence of that teamwork. And we hope to see the passion, dedication, creativity, and talent that have come together in today's forum to continue to help us create solutions that ensure a positive outlook for our creative industries and for our country's economy. Let's take our inspiration and embrace the opportunities that lie ahead in 2021. Once again, thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a fantastic day ahead. Enjoy the forum, the rest of the forum. Thank you very much.